You stepped away from and I've seen you make a lot of content, and you've got this whole show reel of you saying, don't watch for about 4 minutes straight on different podcasts.
That's for about 4 years worth of highlights.
Did you step away from because you saw the negative impacts, or what was the deal with that?
It was like this sort of perfect storm of a bunch of stuff simultaneously. It wasn't one particular thing. I stepped away in 2020. In 2019, I saw a couple of incidents of what can only really be described as misandry. There was one director and one prominent actor who got accused of sexual assault on set. And I saw a whole bunch of people, coming after these guys, like instantaneously without really any proof of these allegations. Luckily for both of these guys, there was behind the scenes footage that kind of exonerated them and proved them completely innocent, and nobody apologized. None of the accusers got reprimanded for it, really. The ladies' careers stayed the same. Like, all the other women who piled on these guys didn't do any retractions and say sorry. It was just this opportunity to hate on men and carry on with their day. And then when I was gone to AVN conventions and seeing the way that all these the hyper fans, the most intense fans, will line up to get their DVD signed by a woman with her boobs out. And then after that session, hearing her talk about her fans behind closed doors and how much they're disgusted by them and how much they don't respect them and they don't like them. And it's these are the guys that are putting food on your table. It was this weird sort of environment of feminism combined with man-hating, combined with you actually need men to keep the industry going because they're the customers. There was that layer to it. And then there was the layer of me getting regular guys in my DMs asking me hey man, I'm having trouble with erectile dysfunction. I'm having trouble with premature ejaculation. What do you do as a porn star? I have a background in science. I have a background in chemistry. I also used to be a teacher, a lab tech. I sort of started to give these guys practical advice. I kind of biohacked my way into the industry in general anyway. Anytime I heard an older performer or a more seasoned veteran guy give a tip about anything, I always wrote it down. And so I just stacked this list of biohacks, I guess, from all these old veteran guys. And I would start to share that with dudes in the DMs and be like, go do this, do that. And the first thing I would always tell dudes if they came to me with an erectile dysfunction problem or a premature ejaculation problem would be stop watching porn. It's the first thing I told them, because that's just the honest to God's truth. When I first started saying that, before I had a YouTube channel or anything, it wasn't a case of I'm saying this because I believe it to be the morally correct answer. That is the case now. But then it was just this is just the factual answer. This is without a doubt, that's the first step you should do, is just stop watching porn, because it's frying your dopamine receptors by just constantly consuming novel sexual material. In a way, it's actually also subconsciously programming you. You're also physically conditioning yourself a certain way when it comes to premature ejaculation. If you're masturbating to come as fast as possible or to come to very extreme visual stimulus, you're conditioning your body that way. So when you're with a regular woman with the lights off or with regular lighting, not perfect studio lighting, your body isn't going to respond the same way, is it? Because you've bombarded it with the perfectionist extreme, and now you've got a real woman in front of you, and the dude's dick doesn't rise to the occasion. His physiology isn't responding the way it should be because he's trained it a different way. Well, you know what's funny is that men are actually objectified more than the women are.
How so?
Well, I'm just a penis. She at least
put that in your Instagram bio.
Just a penis. She literally, think about it. If you sat down and looked at a porno, what percentage of that porno is my face on the screen? 5%? Her face on the screen for about 80%. You're actually seeing the person. The dude is literally turned into an object. You can make the argument that men are actually way more objectified. Now, women are the product of pornography. They are the thing that is being sold, though. The level of backwards rationalizing and mental gymnastics that a woman in the industry has to do to be don't objectify me, but I'll do porn, but I want you to pay you for my objectification. I don't quite know how they can have those two conflicting ideas at the same time. The fact that porn is now so pervasive and it's in everyone's pockets, what it's caused, women are now in they kind of always have been, but now they're in a really intense sexual arms race with each other, because everyone is seeing these hyper sexualized versions of women with the BBLs, with the big titty implants, with the fake duck lips, with the perfect hair extensions, with the perfect makeup, the perfect lighting, all this sort of stuff, right? It creates this hyper caricature of the most attractive female possible. And then the average woman, that girl's posting on Instagram, right? And the average woman is trying innately, they try to compete for male attention. That's just female biology. That's just female nature. They compete for male attention because male attention means resources, which means survival, which means the genetics get passed on, right?
And the corollary is true as well with men competing for women.
Completely. They're in this sexual arms race of if they don't get the BBL, if they don't get the boob job, if they don't get the lip fillers, they don't get the thing, all these extra things, well, this girl over here gets more attention than her.
What does your girlfriend think to you being an ex-male porn star?
Doesn't really talk about it. She knows what she signed up for. She's incredibly prim and proper British girl. So it's, you wouldn't expect her to be my girlfriend.
Have you met the family?
Yes, parents love her.
How did she introduce you?
She introduced me as an entrepreneur to start with. I don't think we've quite gotten to that conversation yet. They like me now. We'll see how that goes once they find out a bit more about my background. But
how does that change relationship dynamics when you've been a male porn star?
You know what? With the parents, it does change things. But with the girl itself, it has never been a problem. You would assume that I would get like really judged for it. But the thing is, a woman is not even going to come on my radar if she had a problem with it. If they did have a problem with it, they've already sort of self-filtered themselves out.
Would you judge her for having a problem with it?
Yeah, I'd get it. Because most guys wouldn't date a girl who has an OnlyFans. Most guys wouldn't date a girl who was a porn star or whatever. Like, it makes sense. There is a difference, though, between the male experience and the female experience. The idea of, like, access to sex for women is like breathing. Like, it's not hard for a woman. Like, an average woman can have as much sex as a male celebrity. Like, it's that easy for them to come by. This is why we have two distinct words for people who have a lot of sexual access. One is a stud and one is a slut. And these words have very different connotations because one takes effort. One implies that you have achieved a certain level of success in some field in order to garnish that attention in the first place. The other is being undiscerning, not having a standard for men to overcome, right? So that's why we have the two different standards. And for anyone who complains about that double standard, we have double standards with everything in regards to male-female dynamics. Show me the 18-year-old boy who's being invited out to yachts and invited to drink bottles at the club. He doesn't exist. But there's 18-year-old girls who have that experience. A big problem is this idea of egalitarianism, this blank slate egalitarianism, thinking that men and women are exactly the same in every regard, and so their life experiences should reflect that, and our standards of them should reflect that as well. I don't expect women to sign up for the military. I don't expect women to learn how to box. I don't expect women to be able to lift heavy things. I think the double standard is perfectly fine.
How does it play mentally with you now that you're out of the porn industry?
Well, it's my job to fix it. This is why I have conversations like this. It's my job to repair some of the damage that I did. And it's like, I'm never going to be able to fix the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm a relatively tiny drop in the ocean in terms of like the pornography industry. But at least I can get out there and say stuff like this, you know, like, first of all, stop watching the damn thing. Don't support the industry. Don't go and spend your wage on an OnlyFans model who doesn't give a crap about you and who isn't actually talking to you, by the way. The typer who's probably a dude is doing all the talking to you. You don't want to be a part of this. I have guys in my DMs sometimes asking like, I want to get into the industry. Like, how do I get in? I just tell them, bro, don't do it. I could tell them how to do it. I just tell them, don't do it. Retired and repenting is kind of where I'm at now. It's a insurmountable task. Nothing I say is going to stop the industry, but at least if someone listens to me, I can at least stop one dude from going down this path of like wasting his essence.
Would you say you regret being a male porn star?
It's weird because I wouldn't be able to teach what I teach now if I hadn't done it. You know, I was saying about all these different like biohacks and stuff that I've learned. I have fixed guys' bedroom issues. I've cured them of like performance anxiety, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation. I've had guys email me saying I've saved their marriage because of the stuff I teach now. So it's this weird situation where it's like, yeah, doing it was morally repugnant, but like I'm able to help people because I did it.
You kind of had to take a long diversion, go balls to the wall, literally, to learn all of these lessons to teach people.
Yeah. Life is nuanced. Life isn't really black and white. People like black and white answers, but I can't give you a black and white answer to that question.
And black and white porn, interracial seems to be.
That's another thing. That's another search term, right? It's a thing you can Google.